Hello, football fans. Well, week 4 got off to not a somber start, but it was a good start with the Dolphins and the Bengals. And pardon me. Yeah. So we all saw it. Tua had to be stretchered out as a result of him playing, even though his head wasn't right. It just wasn't. And, the Dolphins really messed this up. For one, they said he had a back problem. Yeah, sure he did. His head was lit up in that game against Buffalo, but they just put him out there, and they put him out there on Thursday night, and look what happened. He got sacked and landed on his head badly, and his body went into a fencing position. His fingers locked up. That's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. So Tua, he has to be done for the year. They haven't said it either, because just days later he's out of the hospital and flying in a plane. That's not a good thing. I think I read some story about somebody had a bad concussion, flying a plane, ended up having a seizure. The Dolphins really are just fucking up, aren't they? Ugh. Sorry, excuse me. Speaking of yawning, it's kind of I think I found myself yawning a bit on Sunday because I set my alarm to wake up early to watch the London game. Of course, it was the Vikings and the Saints. They were playing across the pond. And, of course, the London game started at 6:30 in the morning here in the West Coast. That's bright and early. That's before, I think that's before the pre-games start for the other games. But, yeah, it was a good game. It ended up being a good game. It was kind of low scoring. It ended up being a really good game. Came down to field goals. Will Lutz tied it with a 60-yarder, but the 61-yarder double doinked out. It was crazy. But that's how it ended. So the Vikings took that one. And then we see an offensive shootout in Detroit between the Mariners, the Seahawks. It's kind of understandable that actually we start to say Mariners because they finally made the postseason. But anyway, Seahawks and Lions played to an offensive shootout. They decided to give their defenses a bye week and just throw the ball and score everything. 48-45. I swear, the Lions had to be the best 1-3 team I've ever seen. Not just the best 1-3 team this year. They had to be the best 1-3 team I've ever seen. This is a team that just scores points, and racks up yards, and all that other good stuff. Problem is, the defense couldn't even stop me. It's ridiculous. It is crazy. But they got all these points. Well, the defense is just shot. Absolutely shot. There's definitely no lack of trying for Detroit. They are scoring points. And points and points and points. They just need to stop people. Even if they had like a mediocre defense, we're talking them being 3-1. If they had a good defense, we're talking about them being undefeated. Imagine that. See them undefeated? Philly's still undefeated. And I remember hearing all the rumblings during the offseason. Philly's going to win the division. And I went, no, wait a minute now. They're picking this team over Dallas. Yeah, I know. They have our old coach. They have They have Mike McCarthy, whose head has been up his rear end for the last 5 years. But that's not enough. That's not enough to say they're going to abdicate the East to Philly. I mean, what have they done? So, what have they done in the offseason? And that's all I kept hearing. Philly's going to win the East. Philly's going to win the East. I go, no. I have to see this. I have to see this for myself. They are good. I didn't expect them to be undefeated, though. 4-0. Oh, goodness. And Dallas won again. Cooper Rush is 3-0. This is frightening because remember now, when Dak got his injury, Dallas' season was supposed to be over. Remember? That's what the consensus was. Well, he got injured and they only put up 3 points at home against Tampa Bay. Well, that's it. Season's over. No. Dallas has a pulse. It's more than a pulse. They are 3-1. And remember, those 3 wins were Dakless. No Dak. It's amazing. Now, story is, Dak could be back for the game against the Rams. See, again, this goes back to before. Well, Dak could be back 4 weeks. It's supposed to be 6 to 8, but they said, but Jerry Jones wants it 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Dak Prescott, he's gonna be back for the Cowboys in 4 weeks' time. That I'm gonna make sure of it. And they really are trying to stick to this. 4 weeks. If you're gonna rush him back, at least sit him for this next game, and then have him come back for the big game against the Eagles, because that's going to be the one. And that's going to be the game that's going to show me. If the Eagles do win it, then I will see it. They'll be for real in the division, especially if they beat the Prescott Cowboys. If they beat the Prescott Cowboys, there's no denying they are for real in this division. They could be a for real threat in the overall conference. But anyway. It's pretty interesting. And how about the NFC East, huh? The Giants won, so you got 4-0 Philly, 3-1 Dallas, 3-1 New York, and of course Washington's 1-3, but we don't know what's going to happen with them. But still, how about the NFC East? Remember, 2 years ago it was a punchline. 2 years ago it was horrible. 2 years ago 7-9 won the division. Remember, yes, I'm a Urinary Tree fan. It was tank division. That's what he called it. It was tank division. One playoff spot that a lot of people said that team didn't deserve. 7 wins won that division. Here it is 2 years later. We could see a 10-win team in that division miss the playoffs. Interesting, isn't it? Amazing what happened. What a difference 2 years makes. But the NFC East is beastly again, for the looks of it. Okay. Oh yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, sorry. Steelers finally changed quarterbacks in the middle of that game against the Jets. Kenny Pickett got his chance, gave him a big lead, but the Jets came back on him. So Steelers are 1-3. Their season's not over. A lot of people think they're done. They're not. Have you seen the AFC North? The Ohio teams and the Ravens are tripping all over themselves. Look what the Ravens did. They were up 20-3 and lost. Second time in what, 3 weeks that they blew a lead of at least 17 points. Yes, still playing the Bills, but still, you go up 20-3, you're supposed to win. Baltimore is tripping all over themselves. The Ohio teams are tripping all over themselves. The only reason why Cincinnati won was because Miami got stupid with Tua, and Cleveland somehow lost to Atlanta. The 3 teams are 2-2. Pittsburgh's 1-3. 1-3 is a bad start, but they are 1 game out of first. The other 3 teams are tripping all over themselves. All the Steelers need to do is get some wins bunched up together, and who knows what can happen. But anyway, it was Jacksonville that Philly beat, so Jacksonville's not coming down. They're still doing pretty well. I mean, 2-2. What more you can ask for? And they're still in first place. They're now tied with Tennessee. Tennessee's won back-to-back games now. Sorry. Gotta adjust this. Anyway, the Raiders got their first win. Congratulations to them. They beat Denver, who still has problems. My goodness. And Denver lost their main running back, so Melvin Gordon III, a.k.a. Fumbles McGee, is going to be their RB1 for the interim. What else? Oh, I have to talk about the Packers. Oh, boy. You know, it's interesting as a Packers fan, because as a Packers fan, I'm thinking we're 3-1. It's all good. I mean, the games are ugly, but still, we're 3-1. We have one of the best records in the league. There's only one team with a better record than us. We just need to keep winning. Doesn't matter how, just keep winning. That's as a Packers fan. As an overall NFL fan, this is not good. It's not. It seems to me our 3 wins are a mix of happenstance, luck, and our opponents being either bad or hexed. I mean, we beat the Bears, but who hasn't? Who hasn't? Yeah, that's nothing to really pound your chest about. We beat the Bears. Big deal. Yes, we beat the Brady Bucks, which is good on paper, but look at the game. We had players out. They had players out. It was an ugly mess, but we won it. But still, it was just crazy. And then we turned to the game against the Patriots. Now, Mac Jones ends up injured entering that game before the game starts. They start Brian Hoyer. He gets lit up. So they had to go with Bailey Zappi, who made a name for himself. He had a hell of a game while Aaron Rodgers sputtered. And I'm being nice when I say that. Sputtered in the first. I don't know what the hell that was in the first half. I don't think Rodgers did either. Well, Rodgers knew because he addressed it. He addressed it after the game, but it was terrible. He didn't even have one fantasy point in the first half. Not one. I think it was like 0.6 something. It was god awful. Less than 50 yards and a pick 6. But he turned it up in the second half because he's Rodgers. He will do that. But even so, he needed that second half to make things a little solvable. I don't know, a little manageable. I don't know. But it was ugly and crazy, but it was high scoring, so which is what you want in football. And of course, Rodgers himself addressed it after the game. I need to play better. I don't know if we can keep winning under these type of circumstances. Yeah, but remember now, Rodgers throws people under the bus. Yeah, no, he doesn't. I don't know who cooked up that nonsense. But anyway. The other 12, we had a much better game, but they still lost. Back-to-back games. He's lost back-to-back games now. They're 2-2, so is Atlanta, so that could be interesting. And we all know what's going on in his personal life. It's going to shambles. We will not talk about that. But we won't talk about something else that's going to shambles. The Rams. Ooh, the Niners really did a number on them, didn't they? And it's crazy. Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee had these great numbers, but they only scored 9 points. 9 points. NFC West games are amazing. So that whole division is 2-2, by the way. Crazy. But anyway, that's my recap of Week 4. Here's what to look forward to in Week 5. Week 5 kicks off with the Colts and the Colts and the Broncos face each other Thursday Night Football, and it should be very interesting because Jonathan Taylor is out. We have another London game. The Packers finally playing in England against the Giants, who could be using their third-string quarterback. I swear. I don't know what it is. It seems like our opponents seem to be hexed before they play us. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's the Giants. What's going to happen to the Jets? What's going to happen to the Jets after that? Oof. I sure to think about it. But that's the London game. Falcons plays the Bucks. That should be interesting. Falcons can go into first place. And Sunday game is Bengals and Ravens. Monday night game is Chiefs Raiders. That's my recap of Week 4. If you like this video, click the like button. Click subscribe if you want more. My story on Vocal about Week 4 is in the description below. Check it out when you can. And I will get to baseball very, very, very shortly on YouTube. So stay tuned.